Hey everybody, Tony George from DocSports.com, along with Sean Salisbury, ex-USC and NFL quarterback and host of the Sean Salisbury Show down there in Houston, and of course found nationally as the best sports talk show in the country on iHeartRadio. So be sure and give Sean a listen over there, thumbs up, subscribe, all those good things. Give him a follow on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. And Sean, we're talking Big 12 action here, and I guess with Texas taking on Iowa State here, Iowa State installed as a 6.5 point favorite, total around 60 in this one. And I know that you follow those Texas sports closely down there, and I believe you know Sark a little bit. Your thoughts on where Texas is sitting? Last week I had a big, not a huge position, but a solid position on Baylor against them, because Texas can't close out a game, Sean. And I just want to know kind of what rumblings have you heard down there in the Lone Star State, and what's the state of affairs in your mind with Texas right now?
Well, first off, and I was on the under as well, the game, and I thought Texas would actually beat Baylor, but I also on the under last week because Baylor plays good defense, and we hit that as well.
Yeah.
Listen, there's not the buzz isn't like there's not a groundswell like, oh, it's time to get rid of Sark already. I think they're paid. I think they see potential in what he can do with that offense and the team, and still trying to figure out who his guys are as he recruits and the rest of it. So there's not a, oh my gosh, here we go again. It's Charlie Strong. It's Tom Herman. It's what are we going to do? I don't think there's that. There's more pissed because they expect more. And you're exactly right. Their number one thing is they do not know how to close out a game. This is three
Yeah.
straight games where they've had late leads and have not been able to hold it. And the ironic thing about this is, Tony, is that they've got maybe the best running back in America in Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
You should be able
Yeah.
to have a 4-minute drill and close games out, but defensively, they can't get off the damn field. And no matter who you are moving the football against them because they'll score,
Yeah.
but costly turnovers and second half games where they just blow big leads after jumping out on somebody. We saw what they did at Oklahoma. So Sark's not going anywhere, and I think he is the guy to turn the program around. But the frustration and the eye rolling is going because this team, the lack of physicality in the middle of the third to the fourth quarter and closing teams out is becoming a problem, and they got to fix it. And Sarkisian knows it because where he came from at Alabama, that's what they do. They close it out, they physically wear you out, and they've got finesse players. They've got one of the three down. They're not as physical as they need to be. They defensively don't stop you, and they've got perimeter, but they don't have the physicality to shut you down on defense either. That's got to change. This is a big number at Iowa State, Tony, a big number. But there's a reason for it, and they don't trust that Texas can close out either. I tend to lean towards Iowa State too, but that number and that hook bothers me. Texas can backdoor cover anybody with their offense. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, a couple things at play here. Obviously, I've been to probably 20, 25 games at Jack Trice in Ames, Iowa. It is a snake pit to play in.
Brutal.
I used to cover Nebraska over there, and then in my early ESPN days, I had a couple of chances to go over there and report that they played Texas or Oklahoma. Always when they were like a 20-point underdog back when they weren't as good as they are now, and they damn near beat them or did beat them. It's just one of those places you got to be careful in. Second of all, you have while we talk about Robinson and how great of a running back he is for Texas and a pure raw talent as a freshman, let's not forget about maybe the second best running back in the Big 12, and that's Hall for Iowa State. He had a $167 last week against a pretty stout West Virginia rush defense. They're coming off a road loss here where they were favored and got upended at Morgantown, which Morgantown, Sean, is a lot like Ames, Iowa. It's right. One of those places. It's hard to go in and get a win no matter what the record is, especially back in the days when Holgerson was there, running up the score, he was allowing 50, but he was putting up 58,
That's exactly
but
right.
Those days are gone here. But I think that both these teams, if they're smart, and if I was smart enough to be a college football head coach, I probably wouldn't be doing this for a living. I'd be making $5 million a year coaching football. But that being said, they're both going to play to their strength, in my opinion, which is running the football. Purdy had a lot of hype coming into the season, Sean, and he hasn't performed up to those levels this year. And Matt Campbell's
Agreed.
had a tough time kind of getting them to put people away. But the bottom line is, with both teams and the ability to run the football, in my opinion, Sean, that eats a lot of clock.
Take the
And I
under.
like the under here a little bit. I think
Agreed.
this is going to be a tightly contested game. I'm looking at the current line is 60.5. You obviously have two offenses here that are scoring combined 71 points a game. But that being said, everybody's just going to pound this over, where I think they're going to run the football a lot here, Sean. And with that clock being eaten
The
up,
public,
and
and you know this, Tony,
both,
the public loves
yeah,
the overs, man. They love
I know.
favorites and they love overs, man. And they just can't
Yeah.
resist it. Can't.
This thing, in my mind, has 23-20 written all over it.
I was
It
going to
really
say
does.
27. I was going to say, like with the number 60.5, I was going to say 27-24. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like a 3-point game, a backdoor
Yeah.
cover by on the spread with Texas. Iowa State wins. So they stave them off at the end, get a stop, run the clock out,
Yeah.
and win by 4 or 3. I'm with you. That's how I feel. 27-23, 27-24 type game.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that a lot of people expect a shootout here. Both quarterbacks are suspect. I'm not sold on Texas's wide receivers, Sean. They drop a lot of balls. I mean, a lot of balls that are open. And I know Thompson, pedigree is good from his dad and all this, that, and the other, but he's young as well. I just think that this is going to be one of those knockdown, drag out games. This has a lot of meaning, has a lot of meaning for Texas to salvage their pride, but also has a lot of meaning for Iowa State in terms of still having an outside shot and getting into the Big 12 championship game. So, I think they're going to play it close to the vest and play their strengths. Sean and I agree here. I think Texas covers the number, and I'm kind of leaning towards the over or the under as well here.
Agreed.
I think you're going to see a good. I think this is going to on a college football weekend, Sean. Where there's not a lot of huge marquee games. This is one of those under the radar games, and it's 7:30 Eastern at night. This is one of those games you want to tune into. It's going to be an entertaining football game. And I think Texas, this may be their biggest game of the season, Sean. Sarkisian really needs this win. I mean, just to calm down. Yeah.
Agreed. And psychologically, on the road, optics, everything. And Tony, think about this now. By game time, we're looking at somewhere in the 40s, mid to low 40s. Again, clear skies, at least for now, it's supposed to be. But you're looking at a little chill in the air in the 40s. Here it's still in the 70s. It's sometimes dipping into the 80s in Texas. So not that that matters, but it does. And you talked about drop balls, and you know how that goes, Tony. The first time guys see cold for the year, it gets a little bit of a change up. I'm with you, and Sark needs this. His team needs it. And and Iowa State needs it at home too after what happened, like you said, in Morgantown. This is a huge unranked game this week. It really is.
Yeah.
Huge unranked game.
I agree 100%. Tune in and watch it, win some money. Get over to DocSports.com. Take advantage of that free $60. Link in the description below. I'm going for my 7th top play without a loss this Saturday. And so I'll text it to you, brother. I'll share the love. It's okay. I'll share the love. We had Notre Dame last week. So, and of course, you can get a wealth of information by listening to the Sean Salisbury Show right over there at iHeartRadio, the best sports talk show in the country, bar none, hosted by that good-looking guy right there. Well, we'll give him a pass, although he's wearing a Lakers top. And Sean Salisbury, so be sure and check him out. There you go, baby. There you go. NBA is here. He's Sean Salisbury. I'm Tony George. Thanks for tuning in.